Okay, I don't even know if this thing is working. Okay, and I am on. And today has been a very busy day. Thanks, everybody. I hope somebody's going to tell me that they can see me. I'm going to type that. Thank God. I thought I was talking to myself. I had trouble getting onto live streaming because they have changed some things. And I'm bad. I'm bad with technology. So yeah, I had issues live streaming. Hey everybody, happy day of light. I had an amazingly peaceful and amazing day altogether. And I hope to be able to share it with you as I go through this. This is my new thing. So I'm going to be reading your questions right now so that we can get into it because I do live streaming for you guys. So I'm going to be reading them right now. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. So while you're still getting warmed up, I will tell you what happened to me today. I woke up early this morning to burn the candle, start the candle. I've started it again. I turned it off mid-afternoon and then I turned it on again an hour ago. So I woke up early in the morning. I went to my mat and I did my day of light thing. And I was very emotional and I cried and I screamed and I did, I'm an emotional kind of bitch anyway. So I cried, I screamed, and then I asked my ancestors to look out for all of you, everybody who has lit their candle for Day of Light. I asked them to look out for all of you, and I asked them to kick everybody's ancestors in the ass so that they can help us in this world. Then I kicked my ancestors in their ass too, right? Then I asked them to join hands and work with others, and I told them how much pain I'd been through, and I asked for it to be lifted and the dark clouds to be lifted from over me and the dark clouds to be lifted from everybody today who lit the candle. And then I took pictures for Instagram. I posted it on Instagram because I was down there for a long time. I was in my basement for a long time. And then I came and then I posted, the picture. Then I talked to my Instagram friends because I'm always on Instagram. And then I sat down. It was like an hour later, like about an hour later, when I was thinking time to go and torture myself at the gym, I suddenly got that feeling that other witch doctors know, the feeling that I was about to step into the veil for my job. Like it was so I sat down because I knew it was coming. I tried to ignore it by watching something, but I'd already been warned, right? It's a feeling you get, a feeling of your soul being separated from your body. Anyway, as I'm watching Netflix, some witch story, as I was watching that, I suddenly found myself. Who is oh my goodness. Okay. It's my girl Misty. She's totally on her game. I don't need this phone right now, so I am going to turn it off. Okay. So anyway, I where was I? Anyway, I I found myself in somebody's house. The house, it was truly a house. The house was big house. And I was standing in a bedroom and my grandfather was lying on the bed. My maternal grandfather, my mother's father, Imbayago. That's his name, Imbayago. He was lying on the bed, dressed the way he was dressed when we buried him. And then on the wall was the day of his death. Okay. My grandfather died when I was 19. So on the wall was the day of his death, 3 August 1980. I couldn't read the last number. You know, I'm bad with numbers. I couldn't read the last numbers. And he was lying there ready for his funeral. And I was like, I just stood there for a while. Then he rose from the bed. He was wearing his suit and he had his walking stick. He was buried within his suit. I don't remember if they put a walking stick into, he wasn't into a coffin. He wasn't buried in a coffin, I believe. I think he refused to be buried in a coffin. He wanted to be buried in the old ways. Anyway, he rose from the bed. Then he looked at me. Then he said, I'm ready. Then I said, you are. And he said, yes. Then he stood up. My grandfather was a very important man. Imbayago was a very important man when he was alive. And he was always like rigid and he was always like skinny. And then he walked to me and stood in front of me and he said, I'm ready. So I said, shall we go, Grandpa? And he said, yes. And I put my arm through his, and we started walking down this long, long corridor, a white corridor of this massive house. We get to the door and I hear a voice, my grandmother saying, you have to open the door. So I said, let me escort and take him outside. Usually when I am helping someone transcend, I stop at a certain point. But in this instance, I was told to take him all the way. So I opened the door and I said, let me open the door, Grandpa, because I am escorting you. And he said, okay. And then, I let him, we walked outside, and suddenly he turned and he said, who is fighting you? So angry. Like he was so angry that people were fighting me. And then he turned into energy and he left so fast. And I just stood there in that metaphysical where I'd never been because it was cold, you guys. There was snow on the ground. And snow, it was cold. It was really, really cold. I always say hell is a cold place. And I guess maybe I got confirmation today because it was a cold, cold place. And I totally live in hell because he just looked at the environment and he turned around and he said, who is fighting you? And he was so angry that people were fighting me. And then he turned into energy and he left. And I just like started crying. I started crying. And my grandmother had to take me. And then suddenly I was back in my living room where I cried some more because then my grandmother was explaining to me what happened. When my grandfather died, his grandson harnessed his soul. Okay, he put it in something that looks like this. This is for fun, you guys, but this is what the Shona people use to keep souls that they harness. They keep them in things like this, right? So he put our grandfather in this so that he could be rich. And he did become rich. He's an extremely, extremely wealthy man, extremely wealthy. So my grandfather died when I was 19. I released him to join his ancestors at 49. And he didn't know that his children, my mother, her sisters, her brothers, their children, my sisters, my brother, my cousins, everybody is fighting me. And it's just by stepping outside and seeing the icicle that is my life. My grandfather knew. So I kind of spent the afternoon crying, okay? Because my grandfather was dear to my heart. I truly, truly, truly loved him. He was the only one who encouraged me to do what I'm doing now. And he was always the one who told me, you're going to be a great writer. Doesn't matter what the world says. You're going to be a great writer. So today, in the day of light, I released my upstanding grandfather to the light. It can't get any more special than that. Okay, to your questions. Okay. What happens in the spiritual realm when someone gives you jealous or envious vibes? Okay, jealous or envious vibes are energy. right? And all energy does something. Okay, and it's not a good thing. So, in the spiritual realm, that could actually turn into a weapon of destruction, and you could actually be destroyed by it. So, you want to walk away from those who are jealous of you or those who are envious of you. Don't bask in their jealousy and don't bask in their envy. It's better to walk away. That's the advice of this witch doctor. Yes, thank you so much. I feel good. I released my grandfather. I released Imbaya Gondoro. I released him today. I can't believe it. I released him. He was in a cage, and I did it today. And I realized one thing, guys, as I fight this war to free myself from the numerous cages I was put in, I am also freeing others who have been in those cages for a long, long, long time. At least that's what my grandma said. Okay. A metaphysical practitioner, beauty is a karmic gift. Is this true? It actually is. Okay, when you look at it from a Bantu metaphysical perspective, actual beauty, real beauty without, physical science enhancements is actually, it's not karmic because we don't believe in karma, but it does come as an energy. It's an energy that is bestowed upon you by your ancestors, not by God, by your ancestors. Your ancestors give you beauty, not God. Okay. But it's not karma. It's not karma. But I'll also be honest and tell you from a witch doctor's point of view. I can tell that this person is very, very cruel just from the way their features were shaped by God, right? And I can tell this person is very, very nice and kind just from the way their features were shaped by God. And the very, very cruel are sort of marked, like God marks the very, very cruel. And of course, to me, then that comes out as, ooh, ugly. But God does mark his people, he does mark his kids through features. Okay. Harry and Meghan, I don't really do readings here, and there's really nothing to say about Harry and Meghan. We already said it. The things are unfolding as they should. Meghan is heading to Hollywood. Harry is going to be very unhappy with his wife's Hollywood lifestyle, and he is going to return to the royal family. Harry doesn't live in Canada. He just comes for photo opportunities. He lives somewhere in Africa, somewhere like Botswana. I actually asked those who live in Botswana to take their damn binoculars and find this man, because that's where his abode is, and her abode is Canada. But she's moving out of Canada into America. She'll just make it look like she's living in Canada, but she'll actually be living in America. There is like no story here because there's nothing new that I can tell you because it was already said in the video. Will you tell me about my spiritual position that I'm in now? Well, if you pay for a reading, I'll be happy to do that. What about the ones that are beautiful on the outside and ugly on the inside? They still have a mark. That's why I'm saying it really has nothing to do with beauty, but their beauty was given to them by their ancestors. Their beauty, those who are ugly on the inside and beautiful on the outside, they still got their beauty from their ancestors. I know a spell that can give someone beauty if they want it. Okay, I know a spell, but their beauty, it's not really a spell. I'll share it. It's basically talking to your ancestors and basically asking them for beauty. It's that simple. It's as simple as lighting a candle, doing a chant, and asking your ancestors for beauty. And slowly, 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 it may work, right? I have not really worked on any of my features, and I haven't really asked God for that, because not God, my ancestors, because I grew up in a culture that looked down on good looking people, and I was always told I wasn't beautiful. So, but because I grew up in a culture that looks down on beautiful people, I never looked for it. So it's like the least of my worries to this day. But the ancestors of the waters, they give beauty. The ancestors of the waters, the mermaids and the mermen, those are our ancestors, the mermaids and the mermen. They give beauty. So what you simply do is you take some offerings to the river. You take a candle, preferably a white one, because you don't want to start a war with them because they are extremely sensitive. You take a candle, you take a handful of rice, and you take some coins. Then you go. If you look on Instagram, I put something similar for money. It's exactly the same thing. And then you go, then you throw, you throw the coin, you throw the rice into the water, you throw the coins into the water, and then you ask them for beauty. You say you want to be beautiful, and you'll be amazed. You'll watch some of your features change, and you'll start hearing people calling you beautiful if they have accepted your petition. When you give us a private reading and you tell us our future, are we able to change our future? There are some things that you can change, most certainly, because the one thing that God gave all of us was the right to choose. God judges you from your choices. So if he's not going to give you the right to choose, how are you going to judge you? How are you going to say that you are evil or you are good, right? He's going to judge you from your choices. So there are things that you can and should change, definitely. Then there are things that are set in stone. They are just things that are going to happen. But usually when I say to somebody, this is going to happen to you no matter what, it's because I have seen that they are not going to change. They are not going to change their decisions or make different decisions. They're just going to go head first into the situation. Then I say, well, that's not going to change because you're not going to change, right? It's about you changing you. What if we don't have a body of water to go to? And what if we do it at home? Can we still ask for beauty? Well, the water needs to go somewhere. Okay. Okay. The water really needs to go somewhere. Maybe you can find a fountain. You have to find water that's going somewhere, not down the drain. No, you have to find water that's going somewhere. Maybe a fountain. Just don't get arrested while you're doing it. Okay. A stream, something. I live in Canada, so there are lots of streams. We have more trees than people. So, of course, it's a lot easier for me because I can just take any direction and there'll be a stream, right? But the water needs to go somewhere. And it needs to be nature's water. Not necessarily, but try to keep it as close to nature's water as possible. How to break generational turmoil. I see the dysfunction in my family, but I can't heal everyone since they are always warring with each other. You may want to stop trying to heal everybody, and you may want to ask yourself why you are trying to heal everybody. This would be something to do with you. And then you may want to go inside yourself and change that thing about yourself, because you may find that what you change within yourself is exactly what is needed to put your family together. Our God, the God of the Bantu, the one whose DNA we carry, he says change comes from within. It comes from inside you every time. It doesn't come from the person you're pointing at. The person you're pointing at has done nothing to you. They've done nothing to you. It's how you received what they have done. So you have to go inside of yourself and you have to see what you need to change about you. And guess what? Once you do that, your reaction to that person changes completely because it's about you. Okay. Have you learned how to? Oh, yes! I have learned the central locking system and it is now in business. Okay, so the central locking system is really complicated and it can only be done by witch doctors. And there are reasons why it can only be done by witch doctors. It is really couples therapy. You know the couples therapy that you guys pay for, and you go to a psychologist and you sit there and you get therapy? Well, this is really couples therapy, but in the metaphysical. The Bantu do not believe in forcing love. They do not believe in forcing commitment where there isn't commitment and where there isn't love. Because manufactured love has dangerous consequences. So we don't give love or love potions, even though we kind of know them. We don't give love potions. We do not force what isn't there. So the central locking system in the Bantu is for married people only. Okay, because he has already chosen you. He has already decided that he is going to commit to you, and you have chosen him. You know that he farts. You know that he doesn't look all that in the bag of chips. You know all his bad habits, but you still stay with him. So this guy, this husband of yours, cannot keep it in his pants. Okay, he is like a dog that pees everywhere. He can't keep it in his pants. Portia and her fiance, great example. He can't keep it in his pants, but he wants to be a good man to Portia. He wants to create a good family with Portia. You know, he respects Portia, but he can't keep it in his pants, that kind of thing. So what witch doctors do, because I've been learning this shit, what we then do is that we literally pull Portia's man's soul. What is his name? I don't know his name, but I'm just using it as an example. We totally pull Portia's man's soul. We pull his soul into the metaphysical. And then we say to him, dude. You know, you chose this woman. You committed to this woman. You have a baby with this woman. You're supposed to raise a family with this woman. But this weakness of yours, of peeing on every lamppost, has got to go. Right? It's got to go because it's a weakness of the soul. So we cancel him, bully him, badger him into accepting that Portia is the only one. And now he won't pee on any more land posts. He'll only pee on Portia. Okay? He will only pee on Portia. We badger him into being a good husband, a good father, and a good provider, because all that sexual energy he was using looking for different lamp posts will then go into him providing for his family. After his soul agrees to become a dove, because birds really only have birds and African foxes, and I heard swans are birds too, only have one partner. After we cancel him, badger him, bully him, give him the statistics of STD in the metaphysical, okay, he will then accept that from now on, he is a one-woman man, and the only woman is Portia. Right? Because we will be throwing her picture in his face. We'll be saying, you have a woman, because they panic when they think you're taking all the coochies away from them. They panic. I actually saw a man panic. What, like, you're taking all the coochies away from me? They panic. And we are all you know, the witch doctor was teaching me, and I was watching. She was saying to the man, you know, a man of honor doesn't go back on his word. You committed yourself to this woman. You call yourself a man of honor. You're going to come and stand in front of God and your ancestors, and you're going to have to explain to them about this business of you peeing on every lamppost when you committed to this woman. So now this woman's vagina is your only vagina. So after his soul agrees to being a one-woman man, that's when the witch doctor, me, myself, and I will then take that agreement from the metaphysical, and I will bring it to the physical, and I will do a physical ritual where he is definitely going to keep his damn word no matter what. And then it will start working in 90 days from the day that it is done. Okay. Now, the elder who taught me, she is an expert. She's been doing this for 35 years. And she said the reason that we don't share this with the masses is that a Zinya will just want somebody's husband and do it. Right? So there has to be commitment first. He has to be committed to you. I'm going to change the rules a little bit, because 99% of Bantu women are all married, right? And over here, that's not the case. And you are the flowers. So I'm going to change the rules a little bit. And I'm going to say, if you are living with a man And if you have a child with him, at least one child with him, and he's going around peeing on every lamppost, email a bitch. I haven't yet, like, and I don't think I might eventually put a thing where you can just click on my appointments page, but I'm not going to do that for several weeks. This is because actually my elder is going to be doing them for a while with me, so we're going to be doing them together. So you got to email me, tell me your story, and all we need are your pictures and your story. But he has to have committed to you, otherwise it won't work. There has to be commitment. There has to be a child between you. He has to spend most of his nights with his head on your pillow. We call that he has to leave his dreams on your pillow. Okay? But business. It's on. Email a bitch. Okay. How do I know if our transitioned loved ones are in the light? I don't know either, unless of course I'm pulling them for a seance. I did a seance on my dad because he was a central part of the battle with my relatives, because he was evil and he was the first one to do evil things to me and my ancestors. So I had to seance him, and he was coming from hell. Okay. But the only way I can tell that this person is coming from hell, or this person is coming from the good place, or this person, like, hell to us is the right. Then we have the left where the general people go. Then we have the peak where the ancestors go. The only way, well, I can never pull an ancestor. I can never. The ancestors come by themselves, or they don't come at all. I can't pull an ancestor because my ancestors are my boss. They are higher than me. So when they come by themselves, I know this is an ancestor. I can pull someone from the left, definitely, and from the right, if I want, definitely, right? And the only way I can tell that they're in a good place or a bad place is based on where they are coming from and the rituals I have to do to get them into the room. Do you practice rituals that include the moon phases? I don't, but there are Bantu groups that do. My bestie, Agnes, she's also a witch doctor. Those who met her in Kentucky, she's also a witch doctor, and she does base her rituals on the moon cycle, right? So there are Bantus who do. And I always laugh at, but she is African voodoo. Agnes is African voodoo, which is actually not a good thing. Okay, African voodoo is the opposite of, it came from us, but it's like it rebelled against us, okay? Because we have the peak, right? And only the very, very pure can go to the peak. And African voodoo decided that it didn't want that. It wanted everybody to just be an ancestor. So they rebelled, and they do some stuff, and they use dolls. They use dolls, and they've been doing it for almost maybe 600-700 years. They've been using dolls and whatever, and they use pins, and they are our dark side. Okay, I'll just say it. Okay, but that's not to say that all types of voodoo are like that. I'm being specific about Angolan voodoo. Voodoo in Angola. I'm being specific because only that voodoo, Angolan voodoo, is Bantu voodoo, right? So anyway, Agnes was born to, her dad was is a big guy in the voodoo, in Angolan voodoo. He's a big guy, and she was born to that legacy. And she also has ancestors, but her ancestors are rebelling against Angolan voodoo, but they still do things like they wait to do their spells during the full moon. So Agnes is very excited during the full moon, you can see her eyes sparkling. And And she's like, it's the full moon. Oh my God, there's going to be a full moon. And I always laugh at her, right? I always say, yes, now you're going to go on your mat because it's a full moon and you're going to chant and you're going to chant, kill this person. She's not saying that, but you know what I mean? And I laugh at her. I say, yes, you're going to chant and chant, but guess what, bitch? I've been chanting 30 days. The moon has no power over me, no particular power over me. I've been chanting for 30 days, and I will know that you are on your mat because the moon is full. So guess who's going to be on her mat too? Me. Okay. So yes, they are Bantus who do use the moon, but we do believe in cosmology. We do believe in constellations, especially the Xhosa. They use constellations too. The Shona don't, but the Xhosa do. Constellations are important to us. So for me, as a witch doctor of the Xhosa, I can use the star constellations. Star constellations to do certain rituals. I also do rituals in thunder while there's lightning and thunder. I'm out there shaking in my boots and I am doing a ritual. Okay, we use every single element. We use the rain. We use the raging ocean or the raging river. You know, when it rains or something like that, or there's a storm and the waves are this high. Bitches at the beach. Okay. Okay. Remember me, when the waves are this high, I'm there because there are spells that need to be done when the water is in turmoil because it is at its most powerful, and anything you do right there and then is magnified 1,000 times and works faster. We use the wind, we use the sky, we use time, we use angles, 360 degrees, 90 degrees south, 30 degrees east. We use everything. Everything has power and it has energy, and we draw from it. I've recently reconnected with my dad and I've tried to confront him about his behavior, but he denies a lot of stuff even happened. I don't know if I should cut off contact again. I wish I was a psychologist, okay? But I'm truly a witch doctor. But I would tell you something that's important. That's what I always say to people before I started reading. The choices and decisions you make must be true to yourself. Okay? Be true to you. Sometimes we go against our choices and decisions, and that changes you. It makes you it breaks a link between you and your soul. Let's say you and your soul have got 1,000 links, right? You're linked together by 1,000 links. Let's say every time you make a decision that goes against yourself, one link is broken and you only have 999 left. In other words, if Jerome comes over and he says, let's go to dinner, and you know that dinner is gonna go with sex and you just don't want to put out, right? And you say, no, I'm good, I'm straight, go. And then he keeps insisting, and then you just say, oh, let me just go. That's going against yourself, because now you're having dinner with Jerome, which you didn't want to have, and now you might put out, which you didn't want to do. Two things you didn't want to do, right? And so the connection between you and your soul will be broken twice. Now you are at 998. So do you see your dad or don't you see your dad? Look inside of yourself for that answer. That answer can't come from me. Okay, look inside yourself. What does your soul say? And what your soul says is what you do. What are you being driven to do the most? Reconnect or not connect? What are you being driven to do? Follow your soul. How do you banish an ancestor? I didn't read the rest of that, but ancestors can't be banished unless they are not yours. Okay. If they are not your ancestors, you can banish them. There are rituals for that, right? I actually did a ritual for that because some people sent me their goddamn ancestors so that they could wreak havoc in my life. There are rituals to get rid of ancestors who are not yours, but an ancestor who is yours cannot be rid of. You would have to change your DNA. You would have to have all your blood taken out and somebody else's blood put in for that ancestor to disappear. What are the steps to becoming a traditional healer? Oh my God. Wow. That's a hard one. To begin with, I didn't choose this. I was chosen, right? And I was told, you're a witch doctor. You heal people. You do this, you do that. And I laughed it off, right? I mean, that's in my book. So all of us are chosen, right? And after we are chosen, we then go through rituals, initiations, and training. The training takes a lifetime. I still have to go to the Eastern Cape to do some more training. Okay, it takes a lifetime. There's always something new to learn, something new to do, like the central locking system. Do you know what I'm saying? So the rituals are done for you to be able to enter the veil, because every metaphysical thing that is done by the Bantu begins in the veil, and you are walking into the veil. So we are given the power. We were born with the power, but now we are shown the road just through the rituals, the transcension rituals. The transcension rituals are taking us there. But it's a lifetime. It's not something where you say, I have graduated. No, you never graduate. Never. I met an ancestor that is dark. Oh, okay. Okay. Same ritual. Usually, dark ancestors are maternal. Not usually, 100%. 100%. All dark ancestors are maternal. Okay. The odd thing is they're the ones who give wealth. They're the ones who give wealth and stability. They give the physical things. That's why I've been suffering so much, because my grandfather was locked up by my cousin in this thing, right? They give wealth. So you don't really want to banish them, okay? Because they give stuff that they are also the ones who if you're going to have an accident and you need to be helped, your maternal ancestors are the ones who do it, even though they are dark. Remember, they are dark to you, but light to your uncle's daughter, right? They're dark to you, but light to your uncle's daughter. In that instance, in the instance of them being good to you, you want to honor them in the same way. Not exactly the same way. There's a different way of honoring maternal ancestors. It's less taxing than your paternal ones, but you want to honor them all the same, right? However, if they are the dark kind that do dark things, that give you dark gifts of murdering people and so on, there is a ritual which only witch doctors can do. There is a ritual. We can remove that one, because you as a soul, you have chosen not to do the dark practices, and God allows us to remove the dark maternal ancestor. But you got to be careful. You got to be very sure that they are dark. If they haven't told you to kill somebody, they are not dark, okay? Because they're the ones who give you money. They give you a husband if you're a woman. They give you things. So you want to be careful about that. Why don't I have grandkids and friends and no man? Girl, I don't have a man. I don't. And that's because all my men were taken out of my metaphysical. And that would take a reading for me to give you answers. I would have to go into your metaphysical to see what happened. Okay. I was told by a gifted lady that my hands are godly and powerful. She said my purpose is to help people, but I don't know how. Well, again, that is something that requires a reading. I would have to get into your metaphysical to see if I even agree with the person who told you that, right? In many instances, I haven't agreed. I have done a lot of readings, and I have only just seen one individual who was the chosen, and I told her, you are the chosen. One individual. Then I have seen several other individuals who actually have gifts. They're gifted psychic, blah blah. Cooking is a gift. I'm just going to give you an example. Cooking is a gift. Do you know that? I can cook and two people, and I can cook for 300 people and only two people will eat. somebody else can cook for 300 people and they'll be screaming for more and more and more. That's a gift given to you by your ancestors. That means if you start a restaurant, you have gifted hands. If you start a restaurant, before you know it, in about 10 to 15 years, you're going to have a chain, because that gift of cooking makes your food so magical. Everything is a gift, even talking. I know people love to hear me talk, but that's because it's my gift. The sad thing is, when I'm not around people and I'm not doing that, I'm not even talking. Do you know what I'm saying? I am not even talking. I don't like to talk, and my soul is very, very quiet. She is deadly quiet, but I talk because it's a gift. I was given the gift of God. So people listen because it's a gift, and I have been jujued for it. I have been jujued for my gift of talking. Everything is, I mean, somebody else can say exactly the same things I'm saying and no one would listen. You know what I'm saying? Everything is a gift, and everybody, every one of us is gifted. We're just not gifted by being psychic or by being a healer. That's not true. Okay, the gifts are so many because God is like that. God don't play. God gives gifts and he gives them to your ancestors to pass them on to their progeny. There are so millions of gifts out there. So I would have to go into your metaphysical to see which gift you have. Okay, you guys be careful writing the same thing back to back. YouTube will block you. Yes, this is true. YouTube has started to be really, really aggressive when it comes to comments and this sort of thing. I have noticed that people will sometimes write comments and I don't block them, but YouTube blocks them. And then I just notice, oh my God, this person was blocked. So you should be, don't keep saying the same thing or whatever, because it's true. It's true. Will the slaughter of transgender women stop at some point? I don't know about that. About the slaughter of it at all. I don't know. I think this has to be looked at on an individual basis, individual transgender woman and individual transgender woman, and what their destiny is supposed to be. It's like murder, right? People who are murdered are destined to meet their murderers at some point in time. The same thing here. My grandfather practiced Muslim with white magic. I do not feel comfortable in their religion, even if it's in my DNA. And what does that mean? And can I choose to follow a different religion to practice my magic? Yes, you can. You can. You can choose. What does it mean to see a red snake in your dream? So many confusing things on Google. Oh, yes, you can choose to. You can choose to follow another religion if you so choose. I am very lucky and very blessed. I love my religion despite the darkness of it. I love my religion. It comes to me naturally. The red snake, depending on your culture. I always say to people, understand your culture first before you understand a dream. And yes, Google is very good, but it's not that great. There are lots of things that Google tells me this is what it means, but that's not what it means in Xhosa. And that's not what it means in Shona. And I'm two of those tribes, right? Shona and Xhosa. That's not what it means. But I'm very blessed in that the Shona and the Xhosa are not that different. Okay. They're not that different at all. The tweaks are here and there, like the colors. I'm wearing Xhosa colors today, Xhosa dress, and Xhosa, they are not that different, and I'm blessed, so I know exactly what the dreams are telling me. But dreams are based on your culture, because your ancestors are talking to you using your culture, your core culture. A snake, to me, when I see it walking, it is a message from my ancestors. They are saying to me, bitch, you're not listening to us. So when I'm walking and a snake is, well, I've had lots of snake incidents. So this is real life, not a snake. To me, when I see it, when I'm walking and it's standing there in front of me, or it's got its head raised like this, and I think I'm about to die, I know that it's my ancestors trying to reach out to me and I'm not listening, right? That's the cultures I come from. The Shona culture has got a whole different meaning to the Xhosa culture, but basically that's what it is. Um, when you dream about a snake, it depends with what it's doing. Every time I dream about a snake, the bitch is trying to bite me. So I know this has been sent by a dark practitioner to do me harm. So of course, I take defensive measures in the dream. What is your opinion on psychedelic plant medicines for spiritual growth? I've never used any. Knowledge is what you need for growth. Knowledge is what you need. I actually stopped using ganja, marijuana. The stronger I got, the more I stopped using, because I was going crazy, because my ancestors were taking over, right? And they were doing what they wanted. They were saying what they wanted. You know what I'm saying? They were just running rampant. And I decided, okay, I'm not doing that no more. So I actually also drink less now. I used to drink a whole lot more, but I drink less now because what the control I have of my body is very limited. So I need to have it, right? So that I can control my ancestors from doing things that the world might find unacceptable. Okay. Okay. Have you ever predicted someone would birth a specific gender and then they end up having the opposite? If so, why did it happen? I always admit that I'm not good with gender. Okay. But the ones I have predicted that this is a girl, this is a girl, this is a boy. They have come out exactly the way they are supposed to. Exactly the way they are supposed to. So I can't answer that. I try to stay away from that, okay? Because the body may be female, but the soul may be male. You know what I'm saying? Opposite. So I try to stay away from telling somebody it's a girl or it's a boy, but sometimes it's so obvious to me as a witch doctor that I will say it. And so far, I haven't been wrong, okay, because it's just so strong. But when I'm wrong, I'll find out why. What does it mean when you just appeared at my place? Oh, I missed it. How does the Bantu feel about circumcision at birth? Okay. Each Bantu group has its own culture. And each culture does what its elders said was the right thing to do. Okay, some Bantu cultures circumcise, but I don't believe at birth. There are circumcision rituals. The Xhosa have circumcision rituals. They are done much later on when they're teenagers, and it's just not about circumcision. It's about training this boy to be a responsible provider and a responsible husband. So they are being trained about all things to do with marriage and all things to do with fatherhood. And then they get circumcised, then they have these ceremonies. The Shona, on the other hand, do not circumcise at all. They do not believe in it. They believe it goes against nature. And we are both Bantu. So it is really, I have yet to hear of a Bantu group that circumcises at birth. The ones I know, they circumcise when the boys are teenagers because they are teaching them how to be good husbands, how to be good fathers at the same time. Okay. Do you know more about the woman's voice that's heard when you transcend? The woman's voice that's heard. I don't understand your question. For some reason, I have an urge to be spiritual instead of standard religion. I'm trying to figure out why I'm so interested in spirituality than religion. Well, I was told, because even though I was refusing to go into the craft, I was told that my heightened interest in spirituality was telling me where I should be. I can't agree or disagree. I can just share. Okay. How do I protect myself from my parents' karma? They both have bad spirits around them. We don't believe in karma. I don't know how many times I've said that. The Bantu don't believe in karma. So I can't answer that question. You can't protect yourself from your parents' karma, but you can protect yourself from your parents. Okay, you may need to protect yourself from your parents, so you can protect yourself from your parents, but how do you protect? We just don't believe in karma, so I'm not even gonna go there. um what does it mean when you dream of lions in your culture? What does a lion stand for? What is the symbol of a lion? That's where you start. I can tell you what it means, the Xhosa and the Shona, but you are not Xhosa maybe, and you're not Shona maybe, so it won't help you. One of the things I do teach in my metaphysical classes when they take those classes is how to interpret your dreams through your own cultural lens. Your own cultural lens, not mine. Okay. What do the ancestors say about the coronavirus? They don't. Okay. My ancestors are not plague ancestors. Each ancestor has a job description and what they do. My ancestors are about romance and creating happy homes and happy families. That's why I could be taught, because not every witch doctor is taught the central locking system, but I could be taught the central locking system because my ancestors stand for happy homes, happy relationships, right? They stand for progress in your life. My ancestors are about making sure that you turn that $1,000 into $100,000 by helping you with the direction of where you should go. They are about making you popular if being popular is going to give you money. They are about keeping you married or keeping you in that long-term relationship if it feeds your soul and his soul. They are about that sort of thing. Their ancestors were about plagues and they are on it. They're on it right now, doing their thing. They are about their ancestors who are about natural disasters. They are on it, doing their thing, warning people in advance and so on. We are about your progress as a human being. We are about your light. We are about your development, whether it's financial, psychological, emotional. We are about your development. Okay. Do you do any rituals to bring love? Well, to bring love in general, that's also something you can ask your ancestors. This is why I try to teach so much, because there are so many things that you guys can do yourselves. You just need the map, right? You to bring love in general, to just say, I need love in this life. Okay, let me just push this down. Okay, just to say, I need love in this life, you can ask your ancestors. Okay, and because they are the ones who are in charge of bringing love into your life. But you can't say, give me Joshua, when Joshua doesn't want you. Because you could get Joshua, then Joshua will beat the shit out of you and you lose your teeth. I like my teeth. I love my teeth no matter what. And you could lose your teeth because there's always a kickback for forcing someone to love you, and it's a terrible kickback. This Joshua soul will get angry and angry because you've caged him. You put him in a cage. There's a cage right here. You put him in a cage. And his soul is gonna fight to get out of that fucking cage, no matter what. Cardi B and Offset, it's gonna fight. And he's gonna do things that are unacceptable. And he's gonna even harm you physically, psychologically. So we, the Bantu, we don't do that. But you can ask your ancestors to bring you genuine love, real love, and then leave yourself open to the universe. And you get... I woke up. Okay. I was worried about my grandson. Does everyone have ancestors that walk with them? Yes, everybody has an ancestor. Yes, but it depends with their job description. Some ancestors are there to do certain jobs, like mine, right? Some ancestors are just there to watch over you, but everybody walks with their ancestors. Everybody. What does it mean when you're nervous all the time for no reason? Sometimes I'm sitting and next time I feel uneasy. Have you thought of seeing a psychologist? I strongly urge you to do so. You may need to work on yourself from the inside rather than thinking that the issue is coming from the outside. But how would you know the issue is coming from the outside if you haven't worked on the inside first? Are you punished for having abortions, or is it looked at it in the metaphysical? Is it part of your judgment? Does it affect your reincarnation? I believe it does. I believe this is the reason why more women go to the dark side than go to the side of light. A lot of women go to the dark side. A lot of women. I do believe it does affect. I believe it does. I'm not sure though. Every time I ask my ancestors that question, they keep their mouths shut. They haven't given me an answer. They clam up. They just go boom. Now I'm taking it as a causa that when the elders are silent, that's some shit going down. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm taking it from my culture as a causa that, when the elders are silent on your ass, it means this is not for young kids. And I'm a young kid because, you can't understand the answers. So I'm just giving my answer from a personal perspective. I'm not giving my answer from a metaphysical perspective because my ancestors, I've asked, they don't answer that question. Okay, someone around me is smoking and my family has said they smelled it as well. What does that mean? Girl, I would have to go into your metaphysical to see. I can't see anything without asking your soul to give me permission to go into your metaphysical, so I can't answer that question. Are my ancestors only mine, or do I share them with the family? Great question. Yes, bitch. Yes. Why do you think I'm always at war? Yes, you do share them with family. You share them with, in other words, if your dad has 8 children with 8 different women, all 8 of you share the same ancestors. All 8 of you. But those ancestors don't bestow the same things on all of you. That's the problem, right? That's the problem. That's why I've been fighting with my family forever. And that's why my grandfather was so horrified. And he said, "Who's fighting you?" Right? He was so horrified because my ancestors just gave me a little more than everybody else because I am the chosen. So they gave me more metaphysical power, and everybody wants that metaphysical power, and they believe they are justified in taking it from me because we have the same ancestors. So they go on their knees early in the morning and chant to my ancestors for my power and my destruction. Destroy her, give me the power. Destroy her, give me the power. And then before I was replying to these chants, my ancestors were doing exactly that. They were destroying me and giving my sisters and my brother and all my cousins the power because we shared the same ancestors. But now I'm fighting back, right? So they chant, I chant, they chant, I chant. It's a never-ending story. What if you're born of incest and your mother? I have actually, and your mother and your father's side are the same. I have actually come across that many, many times. The Shona are very incestuous. I don't know about the Xhosa, but the Shona are extremely incestuous. And I have come across that a lot where a child, the mother is brother, the parents are brother and sister, or the grandfather is the father. I have come across that a lot. They are still so basically your ancestors are the same. I actually do have them say we are still the same ancestors because I called this girl's maternal ancestor, and this man walked in and said, "That's me," right? And I said, "Okay, so now I'm gonna call your paternal ancestor, and then we can powwow, have a meeting." So I called her paternal ancestor, and the same guy said that would also be me. that would also be me. So then I'm like, okay. So I'm now having a conversation with one ancestor over the issue. And it was an interesting experience. It was a very interesting experience, but they are still your ancestors regardless. You have the same ancestors both ways. Okay, my daughter says my grandmother is my guardian angel. Okay, I wouldn't know about that because I haven't seen your soul, so I can't reply it. How do you feel about addiction? Like, is there an entity of lower vibe? Well, the 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 Shauna about fixing addiction in the metaphysical. So there are ways of doing that. The same way as dealing with, the same way as the central locking system. So I never really came across addiction that much because the parents will just go to a witch doctor and get it fixed in the metaphysical. We are people who run to the metaphysical, who run to witch doctors first and get stuff done in the metaphysical, and only when it doesn't work, right? So I've never had a chance to study it, right? Because the the metaphysical handles addiction problems to the Shauna, right? Addiction problems are a weakness. Like I eat a lot. That's why I'm fat, right? And my ancestors say that's a weakness. It's a weakness of mine, that they would like to breed out of me now that they are more active than they used to be. But they also said we understand why you eat a lot because you're very lonely, very miserable, very unhappy, just like the ice cap that my grandfather saw of my life. Just like the ice that he saw, the nothingness that he saw, they said that is the problem and that's why you eat so much. So there is nothing they can do about that. But if they could fix it in the metaphysical to stop me from eating too much, they would give me a ritual to do. But in this case, it's emotional eating. And that's another story altogether. They would probably require me to actually go to a psychologist to get it, to get it done, right? Because they haven't yet given me any ritual for that. Because they can. There are rituals to stop you from eating. If you are just greedy and you are just eating, right? There are rituals that they can do to stop you. Because everything to us starts in the metaphysical. Okay. How to connect with your ancestors and hear them in my prayers. I'm part of Congolese group and I know that they are there. They give me signs when I pray to them. How to do it? Okay, so you're part of the Congolese group, which makes you Bantu. Okay, I've had a lot of Congolese clients, and patience is not one thing you guys have. Okay, you don't have patience with your ancestors, and I wish you would. Okay, you completely think that if you talk to your ancestors today, great things are going to happen to you in a month. In a month, great things are going to happen to you. No, it doesn't work that way. How do you connect? You know what? Watch my dinner with the ancestors, because you are Bantu and you're very close Bantu too. They should work for you. So watch my videos, dinner with the ancestors, and get some knowledge from there. It should work for you. Okay. What celebrity reading was your favorite? Great question. I don't have a favorite because I'm not into them. I don't have a favorite reading. Each reading has been a surprise. I can tell you my most boring reading, the one where I was so bored I wanted to sleep. The Lupita one, I was so bored. I wanted to sleep. And okay, if I have to pick one, it has to be Ozuna, because that was unique for me. It was unusual. I have to pick Ozuna. Ozuna was unusual. I learned so much. I was so grateful. I was so humbled by it. Yes, Ozuna, my favorite. My least favorite, Lupita. Okay. Yes, Angolan. I just say that. My girl is Angolan. Okay. I'm a feminine gay male. When I hear my ancestors, they sound like women. Are the male ancestors? I didn't get the last part of of your question, but ancestors are both male and female. They work together. That's why the central locking system works, girls, because there is no male ancestor who comes to you without his woman. They always come in pairs. My grandmother and her man. My great grandmother Ntombi Zodwa and her man. They always come in pairs. And you should be hearing the women talking. Or me anyway. But that's what they said. You should be hearing the women talking more, right? So your female ancestors are talking, but now you have to go deeper into the metaphysical to get your male ancestors to talk to you. Okay. Yeah, the female are the front line. They come first. Okay, let's see. If you're adopted, does your dad's new side become your... No. Ancestors are by blood only. If you're adopted, your new family, they are not your ancestors. Okay, but that's okay because you may not know your ancestors, but they know you. They will introduce themselves to you. Like my grandma, my great grandma Ntombi Zodwa introduced herself to me, and the great Xhosa himself introduced himself to me because they are Xhosa, and I was born to the Shona from a Shona woman. You get what I'm saying? So I didn't know the Xhosa at all. They introduced themselves to me. And that's what happens even if you don't know your parents and you don't know your roots. As long as you keep communing with your ancestors, they will tell you who they are and where they're from. What is happening when you're lucid dreaming? I really don't know what lucid dreaming is because I think I've answered this question before. I answered it like I said, when I dream, I'm actually awake. And that's what I try to teach the girls who come for metaphysical classes with me. I tell them that, you're actually awake. You're actually doing what you usually do when you're awake. If that is lucid dreaming, then I guess that is lucid dreaming. But for me, I have to kick ass while I'm sleeping. So I'm not really sleeping. I'm actually awake and I'm being as calculating as always and doing things exactly the way I'm doing them, right? So are we designed to originally be with just one person? It depends whether you're male or female. If you are female, you are designed to be with just one person. You are metaphysically designed. If you are female, you're metaphysically designed to be with just one person. And you are biologically also designed to be with just one person. If you are male, you are supposed to spread your seed metaphysically and biologically. So you are designed to scatter. Only when you make a commitment, though, do we talk you down from the scattering. But as long as you are single and you haven't committed to a woman, you can sleep with as many women as you want and have as many babies as you want with as many women as you want, because you are designed to proliferate the earth. You said via comment section a while back that men cheat because of biology. Can you elaborate? I think I just did that. I just answered that question. Men are biologically created to proliferate the earth and to have as many children with as many different DNA as they can, right? So that's why they can sleep with this one and sleep with this one and sleep all in the same day. But you, the female, you are designed to be with just one male because you bruise. Your vagina bruises. If it bruises, it gets damaged. The more you have, the more damaged it gets. But a male, biologically, that's what he's supposed to do. We are all animals. People forget that we are all animals. Okay, we are equivalent to lions and cheetahs and tigers and birds and swans and foxes and wildebeest and all that. We are equivalent to them on this earth. This is the earth, and we are all earth's lions. Just because we use our brains more and we wear clothes does not change who we are. Okay, a lion has lots of lionesses, but it's only one. A cheetah only seeks out a female for sex, for procreation. Then it goes off on its own. An elephant, male elephant, only when it's horny does it seek out female elephants. Okay. And then female elephants raise their own children, but the male elephant is still there somewhere watching over those kids, because the male elephant babies eventually learn how to be elephants, male elephants, from their father, right? Their father teaches them, this is how you do what you do. These are elephants, right? They've got a cohesive family of their own going on over there. And we are human. And our men were created the same way as lions and cheetahs and dogs and wild dogs. But wild dogs are faithful to one partner. Sometimes, not all the time. Sometimes, right? So they're created in a similar fashion, and they're going to behave in a similar way. And just like lionesses and female elephants and us, we were all created in that bucket too. And we're going to behave in a similar way. It's nature. It's nature, people. We're part of nature. We are nature. We may forget sometimes that we are animals too, because we've killed most of the animals and we're doing really horrible things to Mother Earth, right? But we will pay for it in the end, because we are nature. We are going to pay for it, because Earth is going to implode one day because of our behavior, because we have forgotten where we came from as humanity. I had an ancestor come into the plate when you did my reading. I've been waking up and talking, but I'm not sensing anyone there. You are probably not doing it right. And you're probably not cleansed. You probably need a hell of a lot of cleansing, because, and I was just learning this because I spent the whole week, the last 2 weeks, going through my Witchdoctor class videos. And cleansing is very, very, very important. If your ancestor thinks you are dirty, right, he or she won't come and talk to you. I cleanse every day, and I notice that my ancestors get stronger every day as I cleanse. So you're probably not cleansing, and so your ancestor is going, oh, hell no, I can't, right? Or you're not doing it at the right time for the ancestor. There's something you are not doing. Okay. I don't know when I'm coming back to the States. Okay. I am working on it, and I will let you know when I'm ready. I will probably in the summer. Okay. Yeah, my candle is perfectly fine. It's doing its thing, right? Probably in the summer. But it's a little too hot though. Hey, do not destroy my dessert ball. Okay, probably in the summer. I'm working on it. I'm working on certain things right now because of logistics and the law. Then, after I'm done with all that, I'll let you guys know. Okay. How do you feel about the women's placenta? I gave birth 2 months ago and plan on putting it back into the earth. Is this a bad thing to do? Well, no, we're animals. Okay, women's placenta. We're animals. When elephants give birth, they bury their placenta. You know what I'm saying? We're animals. Put it back into the earth where it came from. Okay. What does it mean when your ancestors are not active or only 50% active? Active in that they are not bestowing any gifts on you. Only active ancestors bestow gifts. All these gifts of mine, the gift of seeing into the veil, the gift of being able to talk to souls, the gift of, learning these spells and so on. All those things are done through the power of my ancestors, because they gave me those gifts. The gift of walking my grandfather out of his prison, they come through my ancestors, right? So inactive ancestors means they're just taking care of you, but they're not giving you any gifts. They're just taking care of you. They're just chilling. Maybe they're drinking booze or whoring. I mean, who knows? But they're there. They're taking care of you, right? Um, Thank you so much, Cressida. Thank you. How do you cleanse? Oh my God. I actually charge for that because it's hard. It's a whole class. It's hard. It's a whole process. It's like you have to chant on the herbs at a certain time, and then the bathing is, it's a lot. And the more you cleanse, the stronger your ancestors get, right? So it takes a very, very long time. I hope that when my girls graduate from the cleansing, they are not only talking to their ancestors very happily, but they continue to use the regiment that I gave them. I really hope so. Okay. The correct choice, burial or cremation. I am Catholic. Well, I'm going to be cremated. And my son was screaming at me about that. My son was saying, "You want to be dust? You want to be dust?" Okay. Yes, I do want to be dust because if I'm buried, my relatives might actually do rituals over my grave or over my body. And bitch, that ain't gonna fly. They might end up caging me the way my grandfather was caged in this thing, right? I mean, this is for dancing, but the bottom thing right here, they might end up caging me. So I am going to be cremated at once. I've got it in my will. It's written in my will. As soon as I'm dead, they are not to let anybody know that I'm dead to begin with and to end with. It's in my will. Then I'm going to be cremated at once. Then I'm going to have my ashes scattered on a garden of roses, because really my body, I will not require it anymore, but the dark side will require my body, right? So I will not require it anymore. My energy can just go. Like the way my grandfather was caged, they put stuff on his body. They buried him with juju. That's how they managed to cage him. Nobody's doing that to me. I am going to be incinerated. The end. So you can decide what you want to do with your body. Not a problem. Does being chosen come with experiencing great pain in life? Yes. Does being chosen come with experiencing great pain in life? Yes, 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 yes. There isn't a single chosen who hasn't gone through some hell. I'm looking at the time because I'm about to wrap this up. We go through so much hell. And we sit down and we talk about it, and we just we go through a lot of hell. We just do. Just that the hell that my grandfather saw when I uncaged him, it has been with me far longer than the average chosen. My relatives did a really good job of harming me in comparison to the average witch doctors. What was the most shocking soul you ever read? Really, the most shocking soul was Steve Jobs. And I didn't read him. He visited me when he died. And he was the most shocking soul. He shocked the hell out of me. And his prejudice towards Black people shocked the hell out of me. And what he said about Black people shocked the bejesus out of me. And he was in contempt that he had to rely on Black metaphysical scientists since he died and he went to the other side. He said, because you guys are the highest and you're the greatest over here. Basically, he was saying he was amazed that Black people had so much power in the metaphysical when we are the lowest in the physical. And he didn't like it. It didn't sit well with him. So what he said to me shocked me. Yeah. No wonder he was running. Okay. Have you ever refused to read a person's soul? Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I have turned away several people. I have. And it begins with there was a stupid little girl from Sudan. She wasn't little, she was a grown-ass woman who was trying to test me before she paid me. So she literally said, before I make an appointment, let me test you. Who the fuck do you think you are? Who the fuck? You fucking disrespectful bitch. So, I refused to have anything to do with her. And then there was another African. Usually it's Africans. Then there was another African, but I didn't think she was an African. She was a very strange one. She was a very strange one. I don't know what she was, but she was playing African, okay? She was playing African all the way. She was very insulting to me at first, even though she was wanting a reading. I told her, this is where we stop. The people who ask me too many questions about my readings, my ancestors stop me from working with them at once. There are those who will send me 3, 4, 5 emails asking about a reading. Keeping on asking. My ancestors say, nope, you're not going to do that, person. No. There are some whose money I have returned. I have returned their money and I have said, I'm not doing your reading. They are, a lot, because my ancestors would just refuse. So we kind of say that if somebody keeps asking me about my readings, and wanting more information about it, I just usually ignore them in the end and I just delete, because I'm not working with you. Even if I answer all your 10 questions, I'm not working with you because my ancestors have refused. They've closed the door, right? So they've been a lot, but they've been Africans more than anybody else, right? They've been, mostly Africans. Mostly non-Bantus too. Not Bantus, but non-Bantus. Mostly non-Bantus. They ask too many questions. They want to know too many things. They want to test me like this is an exam. And my ancestors just don't do that. Then there are those souls that are so full of dark magic. And those souls usually hail from West Africa. They have been jujued so much. West Africans are really interesting. Anyway, there are souls that have been jujued so much, and it is West African juju. And basically, I'm going to have to fight with that tribe, be it the Ashanti or the Yoruba or whatever. I'm going to have to fight with the metaphysical scientists who did what they did to this person, right? And my ancestors would rather not. They would rather not. So they would rather, but we've done it. Okay, there are some that we take them on. We take them on more than we don't, right? Because basically, when you have been jujud or you've been worked on by a metaphysical scientist, right, in a bad way, and then you come to me with your problem, right? It's no longer your problem. It's now mine. So now I'm the one who's at war with that metaphysical scientist and what they have done. I'm now the one who's at war. We are literally at war with each other. And now we are throwing bombs at each other because I'm trying to undo what this person has done. And usually West Africans have that big issue. And some of them are so jujued beyond reason. It's impossible to know where to begin. And those are the ones that we refuse to read. But those who are jujued by 1 or 2 metaphysical scientists and not 200, we can take on, because, we know we can fight them and win, My African ancestry says I have Massa tribe roots. I don't know what Massa tribe is. You're going to have to look it up, because there are thousands of tribes in Africa. So you're going to have to look it up. What happens when our ancestors want us to do better than what our soul wants? There's no such thing. Okay. And on that note, because I've gone way over, I intended to end after 1.5 hours. On that note, I want to thank you all for the questions, and I want to thank you all for just being, and I hope you had a great day of light. For me, it was a very, very peaceful day. And for those who are on Instagram. I'll meet you on Instagram at 10 p.m. where we can continue this conversation, but also touch on other things. Okay. Thanks, guys. Bye.